Hello, and welcome to a new episode of NSPE's Committee Corner. I'm your host, Margaret Edwards, Policy and Advocacy Associate here at NSPE. This week, we're going to be talking about NSPE, Emerging Technologies, and the National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence 2021 report. We're going to be looking at this topic through the lens of a joint committee hearing between the House Armed Services Subcommittee on Cyber, Innovative Technologies, and Information Systems, and the House Oversight and Reform Subcommittee on National Security. The House Armed Services Subcommittee is led by Chair Representative James Langevin of Rhode Island and Ranking Member Representative Elise Stefanik of New York. The Oversight and Reform Subcommittee is led by Chair Representative Stephen Lynch of Massachusetts and Ranking Member Representative Glenn Grothman of Wisconsin. Before we talk about the hearing itself, I figured we could take a step back and talk about NSPE and our position on emerging technologies. So NSPE advocates for the involvement of professional engineers in the development and deployment of emerging technologies. This position is rooted in the obligation that professional engineers have to hold paramount the public health, safety, and welfare whenever making decisions. So, taking that idea and applying it to emerging technologies would essentially guarantee that considerations for the public safety are being made. I'm sure there's cases where there are, but by involving a professional engineer, we can ensure that the public's health, safety, and welfare is being protected throughout the development and deployment and testing and all the applications of new and emerging technologies. So NSP has taken our position statement and released an emerging technology public policy guide that covers, that takes our position statement, expands upon it, and makes recommendations in the areas of ethics, risk assessment, standards, transparency, accountability, and third-party verification. So now let's talk about the hearing. So this was a joint hearing on the final recommendations of the National Security Commission on Artificial Intelligence, or NSCAI. So for this, members of the NSCAI appeared before both subcommittees to present their findings and recommendations from their 2021 report. In the hearing notice, the subcommittees also expressed interest in receiving testimony on areas the commission has been charged with exploring, particularly AI national security applications, science and technology investments, talent and workforce, and ethics. So the hearing began with Dr. Eric Schmidt, who's the chair of the NSCAI, who opened the panel's testimony with an overview of the report. He, showed off the full printed report, all 750 pages of it, and said that this was something that he was really proud of, proud of the work that the commission put into creating these recommendations and compiling the report. The report is divided into two parts. The first is Defending America in the Artificial Intelligence Era. So this relates to artificial intelligence applications within the defense and national security sectors. And the second part is Winning the Technology Competition. Throughout the report, it's emphasized how it's really important for the United States to be a global leader in artificial intelligence, and it creates recommendations how to get to that point and ensure that the United States is a leader on the global stage. So a key point that the report does make is that American leadership in artificial intelligence is essential. At the hearing, other commissioners were on the panel, and those included the Honorable Robert Work, the Honorable Mignon Clyburn, and Mr. Gilman Louie. There are a total of 15 commissioners on the NSCAI, but of course, all 15 weren't able to participate in the hearing. It would have, one, made the hearing a lot longer than it already was, and two, having an elected official try to, spread their 5 minutes, across 15 commissioners wouldn't have been the best use of time. So these 4 commissioners were charged with representing the findings in the report before the committee. So looking at the full report, there are some key takeaways that I think really matter to NSPE. So within the report, there are 15 total recommendations, and those are split between the two major parts of the report. Some recommendations I would like to highlight today, I think are of particular interest to us here at NSPE. And those are the scaling up of digital talent in government, establishing justified confidence in AI systems, and accelerating AI innovation at home. I think that NSPE is particularly suited to addressing these recommendations and providing input on how they can be accomplished, and how the professional engineer is a critical part of the team making this happen. Establishing justified confidence in AI systems, for example. If there's a professional engineer involved and the AI application or the system has a significant impact on the public safety, the public will be confident that this application is safe for them and safe in impacting the public, just because a professional engineer is involved. All of this to say that this report presents NSPE with another opportunity in which to enter the conversation around artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. Using this as an opportunity to make sure that the PE voice is heard and that professional engineers are considered whenever making these recommendations happen. And so this concludes our current episode of the Committee Corner. So please tune in next week for our next episode. You can find the Committee Corner at the NSPE Advocacy Center or on the NSPE YouTube page. So thank you, and we will see you then.